Alright, so here we're gonna have a quick review of the Plunge Audio Unity. Plunge Audio is apparently a company from Canada. This IEM retails for around $680. It is for BA, and yeah, let's get into this. So the box is actually a really nice, small, compact size while still looking nice. I like that. This I got used, so forgive the really bad condition the box is in. Here underneath we have, I think this is a microfiber cloth, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this is a microfiber cloth. I haven't even taken it out. And then we take this out here. Broken box to the side. And here we have the case. So this case is nice. I will say it is nice quality, looks nice. It's a bit big, of course, not something you're going to be putting in your pocket, mostly for a bag. Open this up here. These magnets are very strong. I wish they were a little bit less strong. We have the IEMs with the cable. Let's take this out real quick. Come on, get out of there. And here we have a cleaning tool and some Tangzu tips. I forgot what these are called. I think Tangzu... Man, I forgot. But these are so let me know in the comments if you remember. These are some Tangzu tips. And then we have some foams. I don't use foam tips, but they are nice to have. Now, one thing I want to say about this case, I do think it's a good case. And I've seen a lot of people say they like this case. I do wish, though, that this part was made of silicone or something softer. Because if you're using this case, you know, for travel, the IEMs could like bump around in here, and it's not exactly the softest material, the most protectant for scratches, stuff like that. Just an improvement if they ever want to change or improve the case. And you can hear that is a very strong magnet. I wish this was a little bit easier to open and close, but it's still an overall good quality case, nice and clean. Alright, so here we have the IEMs themselves. These are MMCX. I don't want to remove it because the connector, this cable is a little bit worn down off of many previous owners, but it is a MMCX IEM, and it is made of this very weird material. I forgot like exactly what material it is, but they apparently supposed to feel like skin, but like this is 3D printed actually, but not resin. This is some kind of like silicone-like material. Overall, I don't really like this material too much. It was supposed to be more comfortable for your ears, but I don't find this to be very comfortable for the ears. Like, at least like the material. I mean, I don't like this material that much. I think it would have been better if it was resin. So, anyway, going to the cable. Cable is very nice quality. As I said, the MCX is like a little bit loose on mine, but that's because this is a set I think that's gone through many owners in the past. I did again buy this used. It is a really nice quality cable though. I really like it. It's very supple, very smooth, looks very nice. I really like this cable. Now, let's get on to the fit and comfort. Now, I will say before that I really like how these sound. So when we get to sound, you're going to hear why. But this Plunge Audio really shot themselves in the foot twice here. So first they shot themselves in the foot once when they decided to make it out of this material instead of just simple resin. Okay, like, because resin is the most common thing from what I hear. That I'm not sure about this, but this material, if anything, is harder to manufacture. And then the second thing is the fit. This sounds amazing, but it fits horribly. I really don't understand. Like, they said, oh, this is a design to make it fit like a custom fit. But really, this just fit terribly for me. Really awful. They shot themselves in the foot 3 times for that part. Like, this is really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. I managed to, like, if you twist it into your ear, they even have videos on, like, how to fit this in your ear, but it doesn't really help very much, to be honest. You twist this into your ear or something. Over time, I kind of get used to it in my ear, but still maximum 1 hour usage for me in my ears. Luckily, I'm not someone who keeps IEMs in for too long periods of time, at least the same set, that often. So I still am okay with it. But if you're planning on wearing IEMs for a very long period of time, this is not the set for you, unless it fits with your ears. So I've been seeing a lot of people like takes on the comfort, because I was like, am I wearing this wrong? What's going on? A lot of people say this doesn't fit their ears at all, and it doesn't fit well. And it's just certain people with certain ear shapes that they fit these IEMs well. So I think that they should have gone with a more standard shape, or since this is using 3D printing to make the shells, why not make two versions? You know, I think that they could have had a lot more sales if they did this, where you have one of a standard normal IEM shape, and then one of this special shape for the people whose ears really like this shape of of shell. Unless this shell is like shaped like this for acoustic reasons as well. We'll talk about that in a second. Anyway, that's enough for the comfort. Now looks, I think they're kind of ugly, to be honest. I don't like how they look. It's just a simple gray that actually gets kind of dark over time, and you gotta clean it with like a alcohol pad if you wanna, isopropyl alcohol if you wanna keep it like clean. But I just don't think these look very nice. They look kind of like industrial, I guess. They look more like a prototype than a fine finished product. Anyway, that sounds like a lot of negative stuff, which it is. But these do sound incredible to the point where I am willing to bear with the discomfort and I want to keep these because not only are they amazing sounding, but they're also very unique. Now, let's go bass, mids, highs real quick. Bass. The bass is tactile, it's fast, texture is solid, not like top of the line, but it's very good texture still. Perfect for the price, just fine. Overall, the bass is satisfying, is punchy, but it's not very forward. This is not a bass head set, this is not bass forward set. But it's not quite bass light either. It has a small exaggeration, just but not like a small like bump in the bass, which is like for like normal IEMs. But it's nothing like a very forward bass. This is not very like a bass headset. It's not a very bass headset. Overall, the actual focus from what I hear is the mid-range. It's the vocals and the instruments. They're very forward, very beautiful sounding. It's really nice. I really like, this is probably the most realistic sounding vocals I've heard in this price range. I don't know what it does. It has some sort of naturalness to it. I'm going to be talking about the staging and presentation, which is the most special part about this set in a bit. But it does have an influence on the vocals and what makes the vocals so nice on the Unity. Anyway, going on to the treble. This is an overall dark leaning set. So there's not a lot of treble presence, but there is enough and you're not missing anything. It is a dark set with decent enough extension, but it's very comfortable sounding. It's very dark sounding. I never have to worry about fatigue or sibilance in terms of sound fatigue. It's overall, the treble is perfect. I really like the way the treble's done here for a dark set of IEMs. Alright, now something that's very important that I have to mention. When I talked about sound here, and when I'm going to talk about sound in the whole rest of the review, it is with Clarion tips only. So I've tried a lot of tips with these. I've tried, as you can see, it does come with, you see, this is hard to open. The Tangzu tips here, I've tried them with Baroque tips, I've tried them with Spinfits, etc., etc., etc. And I find that these sound better and better the wider the bore of the tip is. And I don't know exactly why. I'm not the one who made this, but as you can see, there's no real dampers in the actual nozzle here, and there's no filter either. So it's just the BAs pointing out into this kind of, I guess, this acoustic like chamber that is the shell. And it creates a very interesting presentation that's almost, I think Bruce from Short Bus said this, I'm not sure, but it really was a perfect explanation of how this sounds, that it sounds like speakers. I'm not sure if he's the one that said that, sorry if you're not, but it really does sound to me like speakers being presented in front of you instead of like normal IEMs. Now, this is not a like better or worse thing than other IEMs. It's just different and unique, and that's something I really like. I love unique sounding sets of IEMs. So that's something that really makes me want to keep these pretty much forever. I really love this kind of speaker-like presentation. And also to me, it has a little bit of like a slight tinge of like a tube-ish sound where it has like a little bit of warmth and it's dark with like a really black background in the sound where it does sound kind of like it's like a, either like speakers or like a headphone with tubes, like kind of like the HD650 on tubes a little bit. It's just overall a very unique presentation. Again, this is only with wide bore tips. I think the reason for this is just a guess here, is that since, you know, this whole thing has no nozzle, no dampers, nothing, it's just, you know, you keep it either the same or maybe widen it out to like a kind of like a horn outlet of the for the sound to come out. I don't know, this is just a guess, but I think it sounds really nice and with these tips. I've tried E-Pros, which are a little bit wider tip. Let me take these out here real quick. These are a little bit wider bore, I believe, than the Triclarions, and these were when it reached like too wide bore, like type of level. But overall, I think that Triclarion were the perfect fit. I usually hate the way IEM sound with the Triclarions, to be honest, but on these it really works. I tried BGVP W01s. I tried SpinFit W01s. Nothing else sounded as good as this. Those wide bore tips though did also sound very nice on here, but it's not as good as the Triclarions. Anything that was not wide bore sounded awful, awful. I heard a lot of negative reviews about this actually also, on top of the positive ones, and I think that they must have been using the narrow bore tips, or different preferences obviously, but really the difference between a narrow bore tip on here and a wide bore tip made just, this is the biggest difference between tips I've ever heard on an IEM, period. It's just completely different. It went from something I would have put in D tier on my tier list to like now it's like S and maybe even S plus. I'm not certain yet where I'm putting that. Overall, just you need wide bores with these. If you didn't try wide bores yet, please do. These sound excellent with wide bore tips. Anyway, that out of the way now. In terms of detail, technicalities. Detail wise, these have good enough detail at the price. I'd say it's just around where the price point is at. This is a perfectly fine amount of detail, but it's not a detail monster. It's not gonna, like, you're not gonna be just shocked at the amount of detail. Really, you're gonna be more shocked by this presentation. Alright, so next I want to talk about now the stage. Again, speaker like wide, but not like, it's not like gonna blow your mind. But with its presentation, it is a very wide stage still. I'd say it's wider than the Base Plus, much wider obviously than the EJ07, around maybe the same width as the Supernova, around there. Maybe a little bit wider than the Supernova, but overall it is a good stage, very respectable stage on the Unity. Now, imaging wise, also fantastic, but it's not the same sounding, I guess. So I guess fantastic is not the exact word to use. It's unique. I wouldn't use these for like an imaging that you would get on like something like these, because these kind of have more of an immersion factor. That's the interesting thing. These sound more like a natural presentation, a normal presentation of sound that you're used to with IEMs. This is IEM sound, you know, or maybe even like headphone sound, but like, this really does sound like the sound is being reproduced further away from you. And not in a bad way. Like, it kind of sounds like it's going to sound bad, but it's not. It's in a good way. Like, it really does feel like you have speakers in a perfect distance from your ears. And it just sounds gorgeous like that. And it's very unique. I've never heard anything like this on any other set. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing here, but not really. That's really about it. Really, they just messed up with the fit and the comfort. And I know a lot of people are going to say, and I kind of agree, that like, what's the point of an IEM if it sounds good if you can't wear it? But for me, this was good enough, unique enough. Overall, I enjoyed it enough that I'm willing to bear with the discomfort. Now, is this the best set under $1,000? I don't think so if it's going to be your only set. I don't even recommend this to somebody if this is going to be their only set in general. I think that this is a set that's better for people who have many IEMs, collect IEMs, or if you've tried this and other sets and you know you like this more. Because this is, again, a very unique set. This is not really a good representation of like what, like, you know, higher end IEMs sound like. This sounds very different. And so it's nice to have this and then, you know, some other IEMs that are a little bit more normal, and then having that contrast if you're someone who likes to have that kind of thing. Before I tried the Base Plus, I actually was gonna say I got this before I had the Base Plus, and so I was gonna say actually in the review for these, this is the best IEM I've heard under $700. And then the Base Plus came, like, and I tried these out, and then now I'm like, they're maybe tied, maybe a little bit of an edge to the Base Plus. I kind of enjoyed the Base Plus a little bit more, but this Base Plus is just more normal. This is, again, just a unique thing. I didn't want to do like exact bass to bass comparisons, mid-range to mid-range comparisons, treble to treble comparisons, because they sound so different. I'm starting to repeat myself way too much, but yeah, it's just, that's why there's not like a very in-depth comparison between these, is because just it's not the same presentation. But with this speaker-like presentation, you also have, I also forgot to fully like talk about the vocal presentation is very forward compared to the bass and the treble. It doesn't make the bass and treble just go away. They're still there, but the mid-range is forward and very natural sounding. The vocalist sounds very much like it has the vocalist has texture in their voice compared to like other sets. It's still like other sets great, obviously, but this is like a very very impressive mid-range. I'd say that this is probably the best vocals I've heard under $800 maybe. Like getting when you get to $1,000, you have some really good sets out there, and the vocals on here are really great. But this is really up there with the vocal quality, and treble quality again fantastic, but just not too pushed. And the bass is still very good as well. So those support. It sounds more like the bass and the treble support the track, while the mid range and the vocals instruments are the focus when you listen to the set. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.